Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be learning about a new poetic device which is called enjambment. B is silent over here, so we will call it enjambment. What exactly is it? Then why do poets use it in their poetry? And along with a few examples, we'll try to understand. So by the end of the video, it will be absolutely clear what exactly enjambment means. Before I proceed further, I would just like to repeat that in my channel, I have made various videos on poetic devices and I have clubbed similar kinds together so that the confusion which is there in our mind, it is absolutely clear. You can check it out. So without delaying any further, let's proceed. Enjambment, it refers to the continuation of a sentence or a phrase from one line to the next without using any punctuation marks to indicate a pause. So what exactly does it mean? That if you will start reading the first stanza of a given poetry, so the particular line, like first line, second line, you can take up any line. So the moment the phrase or the sentence finishes, it does not have any punctuation mark, but the idea moves on to the next line. Then we read the next line. Still, if there is no punctuation mark, the idea carries forward to the third line and so on. Generally, we have seen the stanzas are for 4 lines. So, if there is no punctuation mark at the end of the sentence, you can say that poetic device enjambment has been used. Without using any punctuation mark to indicate a pause. So, there is no pause. That means the idea which has started that hasn't finished yet. So these are the full stop, comma, semicolon. They indicate pauses in a given poetry. So they are not used by the poet. So second thing is that same idea or thought carries to the next line. So that is why if the poet has started writing his poetry, so he hasn't finished his idea, or the idea hasn't completed in the first line, it has carried forward to the second line, third line, so on. By the time we come across any punctuation mark or full stop, we can say enjambment poetic device has been used. Now, we can also say that the meaning runs over or steps over from one poetic line to another. So that means the meaning which is being conveyed, it is being carried forward to the next line and then to the further next line. Why do poets use this? Okay, we can say that, see, generally we have an idea when we are familiar with the prose. You all are aware with the prose. जैसे हम stories पढ़ते हैं तो format same होता है, कहीं कहीं पे full stop आ जाएगा, comma आ जाएगा, question mark आ जाएगा, sign of exclamation आ जाएगा. So that means the sentence or phrase has finished. अब यहाँ पे why does the poet use enjambment? To intensify anticipation. Anticipation आगे क्या होगा? We don't know because the idea has not finished yet in the first line itself. So to increase that anticipation in the readers, the poets use it. It can be also to add complexity. You must have by now come to know poetry is more complex than reading prose. Prose हमें आसानी से समझ आ जाता है. पोएट्री में थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्टी होती है, चाहे वो हिंदी पोएट्री हो या इंग्लिश पोएट्री हो. Poems are slightly more complex to understand. So to add more complexity to it, the poets use poetic devices, and enjambment is also one of them. Then removing predictability. So you cannot predict that the idea has finished here. So that predictability is removed from your mind and you are curious to know what will happen next. So that is why enjambment poetic device is used by the poets. Now let's understand it more with the help of some examples. So here I have taken 2 examples from the poem. They are complete poem in itself. So first one is Dust of Snow. It is written by Robert Frost. So let's read it out. The way a crow. So we can see here nothing is there, semicolon, comma, nothing is there. The way a crow. So reading also we will not give a pause over here. We will also continue to read it in the form of a prose. the way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. One stanza has finished. Still no punctuation mark has come till here. So we will again read the second stanza. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. So he's saying in the complete poem we can see full stop has come only at the end. That means the same idea has continued throughout the poem. Again we can just read it in the form of prose. Just try to understand it in the form of prose. जैसे कोई कहानी सुन रहे हो आप, उसी तरीके से बस what is the difference? It has been broken down into small phrases. That is the only difference. Read it in the form of prose and then you will understand the meaning. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Rued का मतलब होता है to hold in regret. तो एक ये हो गया. This is from the dust of snow, Robert Frost. We have seen that only at the end of the poem this punctuation mark has been used. Now let's move on to the second example. This is from the poem Fire and Ice, written by Robert Frost. Some say the world would end in fire, some say in ice, full stop. So that means we have to read these two lines together to understand the complete meaning. Some say the world would end in fire, some say in ice. That means the viewpoint is divided between two schools of thoughts. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Again, full stop is here. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. That means he is siding with those who are favoring the fire element. So that you will have to read this poem to understand the complete meaning. But here I am just teaching you about the poetic device enjambment, that how you should read the poem when poetic device enjambment has been used in a poem. So then don't stop at the end of the sentence just thinking that the idea has finished here. You read it on to the next one. Here full stop has been used, but taking the example of this one where the punctuation mark is only used towards the end, you have to read on to understand the entire meaning. I hope this poetic device is clear to you. Now see you all in the next video with some interesting topic.